Okay, I think that's good.
Is it recording?
Yeah, I did put record
But you can edit it.
Check.
Yeah, that's it. We'll just cut this part.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry.
That's it.
Move it up a little
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. That's
So you're
yeah,
talking
that's
about
great.
the movie,
Perfect.
and then
Well, first you're going to have to introduce yourself.
oh yeah, okay.
What are we doing here?
We're doing the movie review, and
Movie
we're
review?
talking about the weekend ahead.
Well, first off, I think welcome. You know, thank you for coming here all the way to Canada.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Wally? Why? Why did you come, Wally?
Johnny, I've been listening to like Ringside Report maybe 10 plus years. Remember when Wrestling Centre started, and I'm a man of my word. So what Conor McGregor always says, he's going to do something, he does it. I always did say I'd come over someday, meet you guys. There's never a right time to go do something. I always thought it was probably going to be for a UFC event or a wrestling event. But then when we got talking about it on the pre-show there, like, come over for 400, I just thought, yeah, it's perfect time. And I shouted in, Amy, do you want to go over for 400? And she shouted back in, yeah, without even hesitation. And I thought, right, if I can get time off work, I'm going to go do it. So I've been, it's like a WrestleMania weekend kind of in a way. I mean, I know you thought I'd come over for a wrestling show, but it will be for a wrestling show. It's kind of our wrestling show, you know.
Well, this is kind of like your show right now.
Yeah.
We're calling this Where's Wally?
Where's Wally? Yeah, he's in Montreal.
Hopefully, this is a pilot.
Yeah.
Hopefully, first of many. We'll try to get the series going on Ringside Report. See what happens.
I'll have to travel to random places around the world and do little pieces.
That's amazing.
We're going to have to fly you out, Johnny. We're going to have to get you over to Ireland.
You might have to go solo on those ones, but hopefully this will get you started.
Yeah, that'll get me started.
In this,
That's it.
in this realm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you just arrived last night.
Yeah.
Long flight.
It was delayed. We went into Iceland. We flew in a couple of hours. I think it was 2 hours to Iceland, and then it was like 7 hours in Iceland. So it was like just sitting around, charging my phone, chatting to the locals, them not talking back to me, and then over to Canada. But I mean, one point once you know kind of there's something good at the end, you don't mind. You know, it's like running a marathon. You know, there's a reward at the end. So we knew we were meeting you in the airport.
Yeah,
Big man.
You had something good to look
Yeah,
forward to.
you told me to look out for you. You said I'm going to be wearing a black singlet. I don't think you needed to tell me what anything you were going to be wearing because you stood out. It was like the only superstar in the whole airport. I spotted you a mile away. Amy spotted you too. Amy's over there. She doesn't like the camera. I don't like it either, but sure, has to be done.
Amy's in the background,
Yeah,
by the
she
way,
is.
but she's here.
Yeah.
We're going to give a shout out to Amy.
Yeah. She's going to edit all this.
It was awesome that she came and puts up with Wally all the time.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. She knows she had to keep an eye on me, you know.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But you stopped in Iceland first.
Yeah, it's just because there's no direct flights from Ireland to Montreal. You could fly a few different places. We worked out Iceland being probably the best. We obviously wanted to do it kind of economically as well. There's a few kind of flights that were like nearly $1,000 dear, 500 quid dear. So we were like, nah, better to kind of book a flight to Iceland first, spend a few hours, and there you go.
And came to Montreal. We hanged out last night. We pretty much just talked about wrestling and MMA.
It was actually like, wasn't it? It was like a ringside. It was like a Wrestling Uncensored episode. It was like talking just about back in the day, talking about Gangrel and Viscera and loads of random chats about Dave's favourite show, Sunday Night Heat. We did a bit of chat about that. Yeah.
Well, it's cool to know about like your history of wrestling, how long you've been watching wrestling, and it's cool to know that you actually stopped watching wrestling, but started watching it again because of Wrestling Uncensored. Yeah,
like I mean, I never went off wrestling, but sometimes it's like anything. If you fall out of habit, you just don't do it. So I'd have been watching wrestling for a long time, and then I would have moved into. I think since I was 17, I've lived in about 20 different places. It's kind of crazy. I've moved around, just houses in Ireland. Like they'd say, oh, we're selling it or we're doing whatever, so you'd be moving. So some house I would have moved into, I wouldn't have had access to Sky Sports. That's what our channel over in Ireland that we'd watch wrestling on. So you just would lose track of it. Then you'd tune back in, and it would be one bad episode of Raw, and you think, oh, that's why I haven't watched it in 6 months, and you'd go off it. And then I just remembered hearing that they're going to be doing a spin-off of Ringside Report. They're going to be turning it maybe just into a wrestling show. And I thought, like, hey, I'll give this a listen. And then the more you guys talked about wrestling, the more I kind of thought, okay, I need to see this. I need to see these storylines. I want to watch this. And I just got right back in there, and then I'm back watching it full time now.
Now, what was a bad episode? What was airing on Raw at the time?
I don't even remember. I just remember back when I kind of stopped watching it was kind of when Cena started becoming the big guy. He was like the main man. I just kind of thought, I'm not buying this. This rapper guy with his hat, he's annoying. Like I just there was nothing there. I think it was just like I loved the Attitude Era. I never missed a minute of it. I really loved it. Like I think like most people did.
Yes.
And then when kind of John Cena was coming in, I was like, he's no Rock, he's no Austin. Like enough of this. And I still would have tuned in from time to time, but the whole "you can't see me" stuff, I kind of thought, okay, this is more. I don't know. I thought maybe I'd grown out of wrestling, but it wasn't. It was that. It was. I didn't realise it nearly until you guys nearly said it for me. Like it was because they were aiming at a different audience. You know, it wasn't aiming towards me anymore. I was outgrown wrestling. But so I just thought, okay, I had a different viewpoint of it. I think like the way you guys look at it as you talk about it in a really good way. To just talk about it like it's just, you talk about it like the storylines are real, but then you talk about why they're making it that way. So you point out both aspects of it. I think, which is great if you get what I mean. So you talk about it. Yeah, you talk about it like it's real, like a soap saying it, like a soap opera. But then also you talk about like the real business behind it, like what happens. And that's why it's good to hear your point of view, because you're doing it yourself.
Right.
So you kind of talk about a different angle compared to Dave, who doesn't do it, but who's just ultra knowledgeable in it. It's great. It's a combination really works like there. So I think when you guys started talking about it, it kind of got me so much more interested in it again. I kind of thought, oh wait a minute, like maybe I haven't outgrown it. Maybe I just have to start viewing it differently. Maybe I have to start looking at it in a different way. Maybe although they are aiming at a different like type of audience, they're kind of PG era as they call it. I thought it doesn't mean that I have to stop watching it completely. Maybe it's just start viewing it in a different way, and then there's always just even some of the wrestlers that come through. You start warming to them. At first, you mightn't be huge fans, but they just grow on you, you know. And then there's always people that come back. Like in the UFC, when someone retires, like that's them gone. Like well, not really anymore. Chuck Liddell, what are you doing? But he's coming back. When Chuck Liddell packs it in, for guys like him, usually that's them gone now. But you can see anyone come back. Like Ric Flair could come back and become world champion tomorrow. Like that's what's great about wrestling. Like you're never done. Ever. Like you could be a 70-year-old man and you're going to become world champion out of some bizarre storyline or twist, and I think that's what makes it just so great. Like
I kind of hope Andy Burroughs isn't watching this right now, because I'm sure he's very upset that Ric Flair's going to come back
Ric
and
Flair,
champion again.
And Andy, we wish you were here. We do. We miss you.
Wherever you are, Andy. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, great
guy. See you soon.
Yeah, top guy.
But do you find now it's gotten better over the years, wrestling? Like, do you actually enjoy watching it more now? I mean, Cena, he's there, but not so much anymore. And
I kind of don't mind Cena now. Again, you see, sometimes I'm thinking a certain way, and then I listen to the show, and I think when Dave talks about John Cena a certain way, it makes me kind of, I don't know, not that I feel sorry for him, but I kind of see him maybe as, like, sometimes I look at him like, oh, he's a bit of an ass or whatever, but now I kind of look at him, I kind of think, look, he's different. Do you know what I mean? He has his own ways, even when he's reading the rules out, like, you can't wipe your feet at this time of day, in my house, you have to only this time, and I'm kind of thinking, okay, that's a bit weird, I wouldn't be like that. Like, you see, I invited you into the hotel suite last night, you could have done what you wanted. I kind of way, I wouldn't be real, I'm not a controlling person the way, say, John Cena would be, but I think you have to kind of say, he's different. He's different ways of thinking. Maybe he has to be different than I'd be because he has so much. He's probably been messed about in the past. Maybe people trying to take from him or whatever, you know.
Divorce.
Exactly, yeah. So he probably has to have a different way of viewing it. I'm probably just blessed that I don't. So I think I view him in a different way now. I admire him in a bit, the fact that, like, coming in after The Rock, after Austin, after so many unbelievable superstars, he had a lot of hard work ahead to become such a big name. Because these guys were so good to come in after them. Like if I tried to take over for Dave Simon on Ringside Report, Wrestling Sense, forget about it. People are going to hate me. Do you know what I mean? Because you need to step in and try and take over from someone who's so good at it.
Yeah.
You've got a hard task, you know. It would take me probably years, you know. So it's like, I think that's why I probably didn't like seeing it first. You're more resenting them because you're like, oh, where's Austin? Where's The Rock? Where are the main guys, you know?
Yeah.
Edge and all. I know Edge had a bit of a run after that and all, but you're looking at all the guys who are great and you're kind of going, Cena's just not like him. But I think that he embraced the whole Cena sucks kind of thing as well, which then I kind of liked as well. Like he kind of went with it a bit, like so it became like the way Angle does, you know, the kind of way you suck. I think once you embrace kind of the audience not liking you, I think you might become more likable. Like if Roman Reigns embraced it, if Roman Reigns didn't really care, rather I think because he shows he cares so much that people like him. That's why people nearly think we're never gonna like you, you know, because you care too much. When you stop caring, I think then people kind of go, yeah, okay. He's out to take it.
So you find now Roman Reigns is the new John Cena?
Kinda, yeah. I think like eventually he could. I think he could eventually like be popular.
Okay.
I think his best chance of becoming popular, I think, would be if he just like stopped trying to be liked and almost just went down the route of not necessarily becoming a heel, but just become one of those guys that's just a rogue that just does not care. And I think when you start thinking of him not really caring about like whether you like him or whether you don't like him, then you kind of just start. You guys, if you keep rising to it, people are always going to do it. But even if he's chanting Roman sucks, just go with it, kind of. A bit like he did in the Cena kind of storyline a while back when he was kind of having a pop. We talked about it last night, about having a go at John Cena and saying different things about him. I think that kind of showed a good side of him. Maybe it showed more real about what he actually thinks and maybe not necessarily what he wants you to say. You know, he was saying what he actually felt. You know, I thought that was better. Like,
it's difficult for Roman. He's in a difficult position, and like you said, like we've seen so many great superstars in the past. To live up to what they've done, it's really difficult. And you know, these guys unfortunately can't. They're different.
Yeah. And
people still live in the past, and it's also their fault in a sense too, because they keep bringing these guys back. Like we're hearing now, Roman Reigns versus The Rock is going to happen now.
That's it. Like
35.
Yeah, that's it. Like it's kind of like MMA as well. I think like most of my favorite fighters are all like Anderson Silva still, and your Chuck Liddell's even. Like Chuck Liddell fought one of the newest guys around now. Say if he fought John Jones tomorrow, as much as I think John Jones would double retire him, he probably put him into a home nearly if he got his hands on him. I'd still be really rooting for Chuck Liddell because you remember what you grew up on, and you remember kind of what you loved it initially for, and you'll be kind of rooting for those kind of guys. But that's why I think they have a hard task, but I think because your wrestling life can be so long, you can be around for so many years, like Hulk Hogan and all, is still a name out there, and even after you die, like even after these wrestlers die, it's crazy. Sometimes I'm watching matches of theirs and it only comes into my brain, I'm like, wow, like he's not even alive anymore. I think that's another amazing thing about wrestling, is they're like immortal, like, you know, it's like they live on forever. Like I've watched like Eddie Guerrero matches, and just at the end of it you think, wow, he's not around anymore. It's sad. It's a weird feeling. Yeah, it is sad. Yeah, we talked about him as well last night.
Oh, we talked about Eddie. We didn't get to talk about Chris Benoit.
No. Yeah, we skimmed over that.
See, I get a bit of controversy because of that, because I mentioned Chris Benoit, and I still think Chris Benoit is a great wrestler. Yeah. A lot of people, Dave Simon I'm mainly talking about right here, thinks that I should never mention Chris Benoit in a glowing light whatsoever, but regardless of what he did, you can't deny what he did in the ring and the performances he gave. I think
it's like, I think as much as you admire him as a great wrestler, he was probably one of the best technicians there ever was. Like, he's brilliant, but I kind of see why WWE would never kind of mention him.
Yeah, I get
what he did. Rather than the Hogan thing, so like people I think like they almost like forgetting Hogan and forgetting Benoit, they were only putting them in the same bracket, which I wouldn't personally. I think Hogan made a mistake, but then again, Benoit's could have been a mistake too, but that's way more obviously than just a mistake. But it's like something that, I don't know, like it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, you
Dave, what's he doing bringing up Benoit?
You can't come back from what Benoit did.
Yeah, that's it.
You can't, but much like Hogan too, like even when they erased him, it didn't take away from what Hogan did.
That's it. You see, you can't erase someone once someone's been there and they've done what they've done. Like Hogan, like, I mean, as much as people might say, "Oh, I hate Hogan," or "Hogan was wrong," I mean, he was the first real big name. Like, he was the first wrestler that I'd remember. Like, there was like, when I started watching wrestling, it would have been in '86. That's how long ago it was. And like, it would have been on like UTV was a channel in Ireland. It still exists. But there would have been like a British wrestling, so there was like giant haystacks and loads of really random kind of wrestlers. And then we got WWF, and it was like the greatest thing ever. But we only got to see like Superstars, Shotgun, all these kind of ones. So as I was saying to Johnny last night, my first couple of pay-per-views were audio, because the screen used to blank when the thing would go live. It would show you right up to the point of, "We're live here from," gone. You could just hear the sound and you'd be like, "Oh no." And I used to be hoping, now and then, throughout the 3-hour, say, pay-per-view, now there's 7 hours, you'd actually get about 10 seconds every now and then where it would flash up and show you, you'd be like, "Oh my god, I can see it." And then it'd be gone again. And you'd be like, "Oh," like they were teasing you. But, so the first couple of pay-per-views I remember, the first couple of WrestleManias would have been all audio. I'd have been listening to it. I'd have actually heard, like, Hulk Hogan's picking him up when he picked up Andre the Giant and he slammed him, and I was like, "Oh my god, did he say he picked up Andre the Giant? Like, I need to see this." But like, it was only, you never actually get to see him until you bought a magazine then. There was WWF magazines, which is actually how I got into MMA, because my mum sent me around to buy a WWF magazine.
Okay.
It wasn't there, it was sold out. I thought, oh no, like I've got the money here, no point giving it back to her. I might as well buy something. And it was a mixed martial arts magazine that had UFC like 1, 2, and 3 in it, free. On a cassette, so I wasn't even see DVD, or that's how long ago it is. So and then I watched it. About 10 minutes of it. Yeah, the tournament was one. Gracie won it, but I only watched 10 minutes of it. I turned it off and I thought that's horrible. I wouldn't watch that stuff. That's just barbaric. Came back to it maybe 2 or 3 years later, and obviously my brain had switched. I embraced the violence, and I loved it.
It became a legitimate sport.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, exactly. There was like some of the early fights. I remember there's one where one of the guys gets knocked out with elbows. He has him on the ground in a submission. He decides to start throwing hammer fists, and your man's out, and he keeps hitting him. And it's about 20 seconds after. I think that's the point where I went, turn that off. Can't watch that.
Yeah, it got a little.
It got too real.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's it. So like the first few WrestleManias I'd watched, where as I say, was just sound, audio, through magazines. Like I'd have heard like Taker's picking up Andre the Giant, and then I would have bought a magazine and actually seen the photo and gone, wow, that happened. And I remember.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and I remember the Randy Savage. Remember they were having they're making out as if like, oh, Elizabeth, I think was having an affair or something, wasn't it? Something. They
tried to sell that.
For WrestleMania 8, wasn't it? For the Ric Flair match. It was the build up to that. They were releasing pictures of her and.
Yeah, but you knew that it wasn't true though.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. Like in Ireland, we're not now. We're all loud and now, but back in the 80s and 90s, Ireland would have been kind of more the underdog, and we probably would have maybe gone, here, look, you can't be cheating on your wife with Ric Flair and all. Maybe would have been. It's really weird to see an Irishman when you do an impression of another Irishman, but it's yeah. So like back in the day, like we probably would have been. It would have been more kind of belief that it was kind of some of those things could have been real.
Okay.
Like I knew straight away that punching wasn't punching. Because I did boxing growing up, so my dad would have showed me how to throw a proper punch, how to plant your feet and throw through. So I'd have been turned to him going, why is he stamping his? Why is Hogan stamping his foot? You know what I mean? And doing this, like, should he not be doing that? So straight away I knew, and then like I remember the people in school telling me, oh, Hulk Hogan would beat Mike Tyson, and I'm kind of going, here, you know, that's
they
not.
They watched Rocky. That was
that was it. That was it. Yeah, but it was I say the early. I think when I started watching, like actually get to see proper pay-per-views, probably would have been about the mid '90s, maybe late '90s, when like my friend next door, Keith, he'd have got Sky Sports. He was from more of a richer family, so he'd have taped them. I was telling Johnny this last night. I have asthma, so what I used to do is I used to get down on the floor in my bedroom and inhale dust, so I'd get wheezy, and I'd go like, and my mum would come in and go, oh, you sound terrible, you better stay off. And I'd say, yeah, look, I'm going to go out and get a bit of air. And I'd go out to the front door, and Keith would be going to school, and he'd hand me the cassette of Royal Rumble or whatever it was, and she never copped it. She's R.I.P. to her. She's probably looking at him now going, you cheeky kid, or whatever. But it was worth it. So that's why I got to see loads of them pay-per-views then. I just stayed off school that day and watched it maybe 3 times in a row. Like, I would have loved it. Like, but that's when I started seeing maybe pay-per-views. But that's why a lot of my favourite wrestlers growing up, when people say, who are your favourites, it would have been random wrestlers like Gangrel, because they'd have been people I'd have seen every week on Superstars. They would have been taking on like guys who didn't even have a gimmick. They would have been guys like, what do you call them, jobbers?
Enhancement talent.
Enhancement talent, yeah. They would have got local guys in, and they would. You knew he was going to lose because he was in the ring. He didn't have an entrance. They just give him some random name like Mark O'Connor, and he'd stand there in his green shorts, and he'd be like, yeah, he's going to get destroyed by Gangrel now. And well, I prefer that in a way, the way they used to build fights, because you'd maybe have like say, just for example, like Typhoon and Earthquake or whatever. Remember we were talking about that last week, the natural disasters when they were taking on IRS. But they wouldn't have met at all in the build-up to their event, say, at SummerSlam.
Heck no.
And I loved that. I thought that was great, because then you were like, who's going to win? Like, Earthquake and Typhoon win every week. IRS wins every week. Like, what's going to happen when these guys clash? And it was unmissable, whereas now you're kind of going, okay, like, I've seen them fight on Raw, SmackDown, it's 3 apiece. They'll probably win. And whereas I prefer them just to keep them apart. Like, there's enough other teams, say, for them to beat up on and look really good, have them both so over that you're really kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen here. Like, that's what I think would be amazing if wrestling. Not that I want to see them fight like enhancement talent every week, but I'd like to see them fight like, say, lesser tag teams and look really good and keep them apart until the actual pay-per-view. So you're thinking, I need to see, like a bit Ronda and Nia. Like, I mean, you didn't know what was going to happen there. That's what kind of made that exciting too. You're kind of thinking, thinking, will Nia beat her? Will it be because she's so experienced in wrestling, or does Ronda do her because this is how she's going to go over? Or, which I think that kind of gave that a bit of an edge. And I think that's why Ronda's matches I think are so interesting as well, because she's never taken on any of these people. She's not taking them on Raw or SmackDown, or sorry, she went on Raw, but they're taking them on any week, which I think makes it even, like, that's what makes it nearly box office, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It's just the problem is they have so much television, and they have to make compelling television, that they can't just wait for these matches. They have to give it to us on TV.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get people to watch the show.
Yeah, so they need to kind of make it...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a catch-22, isn't it? Like, whether you go back kind of that way or not, I don't know. I think maybe, or even just have it like kind of like you get a balance where they, like, you might see, so say like if Charlotte's taking on Ronda, you might see like a little teasers kind of it, like where they clash.
Right.
But where not really kind of where you see them take each other on 6 weeks in a row, and you're just like, okay, this is too much. I know, I've seen this match, because you often say it on the show as well about we've seen this fight, like Randy say against. John Cena, when they were taking on each other again, it was almost like, okay, I nearly can tell exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and I think that kind of takes away from it a bit. Like.
Completely.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of rematches. I don't like when you just see the same matches every 3 pay-per-views.
I'd say it's even worse for you, because you like would know kind of from doing it, like where he needs to be right now. Whereas I'm kind of watching it, I kind of know a bit about it. But you probably can see. Do you look at it? Would you think you look at it in a different way, say, than I would watch it? Kind of like.
Well, I
haven't done it.
I can memorize the spots, I guess, better. Where it's like, well, they've done this sequence before, like this. They're gonna do like this. Well, they'll change it like this. I guess I see that. I guess, but you know, you've seen the matches too. Like if you just watch them over carefully, you can tell like it's pretty much the same thing they've done. They've just maybe tweaked something a little bit here and there, but it's pretty much the same recipe every match.
And here's a question. Dave probably would like to hear this one. If you were just like say change how would you change if you were Randy to make him not so predictable? Like John, we were talking about last night about the RKO out of nowhere. It used to be kind of out of nowhere where you wouldn't see it coming. You'd be like, whoa.
Right.
Now it's kind of like, oh, here comes the RKO out of nowhere, which kind of makes it the RKO out of where we know it's coming from, which is a terrible name for a move. But it's how would you change him so he kind of like become, I don't know, unpredictable? I think that's what Randy really misses. I think if Randy looks great, like he looks like a wrestler. Like when I seen Johnny in the airport, I said, you actually look like a wrestler.
Thank you.
You know, it does. Like he does. He looks like a wrestler. If you've never met Johnny in person, I tell you, like he's he has the aura of a superstar. You really do. Like you do. Like it's like when I met Jericho, even said it like that. You more of an aura than Jericho, which is kind of crazy because Jericho's my favorite of all time. But Johnny does. Johnny has an aura of someone that you'd say he stood out like, and not in a bad way. He stood out in a like that guy is like special. You know, he is like you really are like
that.
And so like how would you like and Randy has that too. I'd say I've never met Randy Orton, but I'd say he has that look, like the tattoos, and he's built, and obviously he can cut an unreal promo because that was probably one of the top 3 promos of the year. He took apart half the locker room. How would you make his skill set more unpredictable, or do you think he's just stuck in his ways?
Well, he's just gotta keep doing stuff that's out of the ordinary for him. I mean, it's not that hard because he's done the same thing all the time, right?
Yeah.
So he just needs to cut promos like that where he doesn't usually do something like that. And like it looks like he's going for the RKO, but no, he gives the guy like a nut shot instead.
Yeah.
He's been doing that. Like I think it's working right now. Like, the direction he's doing now is fantastic because he hasn't been doing this for years, so it feels fresh. Even though it's not really fresh, but it actually is for him because last couple of years has just been the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That's good for like 2-3 weeks, right? 2-3 months. If he does this the same thing, then he's just
hitting on the locker room kind of.
He's just falling in the same pattern again. So
yeah.
I mean that's a lot up to the creative process in WWE. They got to keep Randy fresh, and I think they get lazy a lot of the time, where it's like, well, these guys are over. Let's just do their thing, say their catchphrase. That works. Get the pop, and that's it. Go home. You know, people are happy. They make a reaction. That's all they really want. Is just the quick, easy out.
Yeah.
And they don't build stuff. That's the problem. I think they forgot how to build storylines, it feels like, because they had pay-per-views every 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're really, isn't it? Like, it's hard. Sometimes, like, I used to watch some of the pay-per-views like 3 or 4 times. Now I can't really, because you go to watch it again, you're like, oh, there's another one tonight. Like, it's
Yeah.
They're around already, and they're even making more Great Balls of Fire. Is that back this year?
No, that's gone.
Is that gone now? Is it?
Yeah, they're fixing it now. Where it's just they have the one big pay-per-view a month now, right?
Okay, yeah.
So
that was only a one-off. That was only a.
Great Balls, yeah.
Wow.
Thankfully.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the point? What's the point of having like? What did that pay-per-view do? It's just a name, a stupid name.
That Vince probably found funny.
Well, it's a stupid song that Vince likes. That's
is that what it was?
Yeah.
I'd actually love to meet Vince McMahon. I'd say out of anyone out of the whole WWE universe, I'd like to meet Vince McMahon. I'd say just to sit with him for 5 minutes and be crazy.
He seems like a very intimidating kind of person, but it would be fun.
Yeah, because Jericho was talking about him, and like when I went to see Chris Jericho live in Inside the Ropes, I think it's called, we get to meet him, and he does a show. And I was only saying to Johnny last night, like I go to see a bit of stand-up comedy. I did a bit of stand-up myself in my time. And like the best comedian I've seen in the last 5 years was Chris Jericho. Just being Chris Jericho was hilarious. I actually left with a stitch from laughing. It was just unbelievable. Like, he's so quick with it. He's so cool. He takes no shit. If anyone shouts up anything, he's going after you. Like, he'll literally rip you apart. If you're sitting there and you're carrying a few extra pounds and you heckle him, he's telling you. he's basically giving you your new diet. And it's like, he doesn't care what he says to you. And it's just so funny. Even the people who he's so endearing, like even the people who he's slagging are laughing at the fact that he's just ripped them, and they're like loving it. But if you ever get to see Chris Jericho live, it ever comes, honestly, go see him. He's unbelievable. Like, amazing.
I'm not surprised, because I think a lot of him just off the cuff kind of stuff they used to do when the cameras were off.
Yeah.
I think he really enjoyed that and wanted to do that more.
Yeah.
And he wasn't able to in WWE, because I think they actually gave him crap for doing that with The Rock one time. I think they went like 20 minutes, whatever.
Him and The Rock did they?
Yeah, they went off 20 minutes. I think they were like in Hawaii or something.
Yeah.
He wrote it in his book, I think. And Pat Patterson gave him crap because they just went out there and just like, talked forever and didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
So that was something I think he enjoyed doing, was just saying whatever came to mind, just that freedom. And I think that's why he excels in it, because he's been doing that for years. And now he has the opportunity to do it in a place and make money.
Yeah, like, and he's doing really, even like being allowed, some of the stuff he's allowed to say in New Japan now, like the whole Naito stuff and all, and even adapting to that, like just even repeating the phrase over and over again, I mean, is entertaining. He has everyone walking around shouting, "See what happens," and it's in my opinion, I'd say he's my I don't think he's the best ever, but he's my favourite ever. Like, there's two different things, obviously, who your favourite is and who the best is. I do agree with you and Dave. I'd say Bret Hart probably is the best ever, because just technically he was so good and great on the mic, really believable.
Yeah. Like,
he's like, when he put the sharpshooter on, you kind of would tell that, like, I mean, if he really wanted, he could hurt you doing that. Like, he could put a bit of pressure on that spine and it would hurt you. And he had the look, a bit like the way I was saying, you had the look, the long hair and the pink, and it's a real iconic kind of looking character, isn't he? Like, with the glasses and the way he gives them to the kid in the front row, and I think he just had everything. I don't think there was anything that Bret didn't have, but my favourite probably will be Jericho.
Well, I feel with Bret's kind of like a national hero in Canada.
Yeah.
And Jericho's a role model, but I don't know if like worldwide Canada he's considered like a national hero. I think to some, yes, he is, but he's not on the level of Bret in terms of being a hero.
Like, I think if you asked like any of my sisters who wouldn't have watched wrestling in, I'd say 25 years, would you would you even know, say, John Cena? Most of them was kind of in Ireland. They'd say, no. Have you heard of Chris Jericho? No. Have you heard of Bret Hart? Oh, the pink glasses, and they know. Yeah. So he's like, they just knew who he was. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I think it's just because of the way his look was, the whole Hart kind of foundation. Even the look, they all had that kind of pink look, and it stood out. And the long black hair, like he used it the way he flick it. Kind of, I'll do that kind of. I try to flick there, with no hair. But he do the flick of the hair, and I think he had everything. Do you think some wrestlers these days should kind of maybe not copy Bret Hart, but kind of like more sit down and look at him and learn from him, or do they do it?
I think they do. I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people look at Bret and they're like, he's one of the greatest of all time, without question. They just see the way he made, like you said, everything look so real in that ring, and he was legit. He had an amateur background.
Yeah, because he did. I forget who it was against, but he did an Iron Man match. No, it wasn't the Shawn Michaels one. It was really back in. I think like in his real early days.
Probably Stampede, maybe.
That could have well been, but it went on for I think it was an hour.
Yeah, I think it was Stampede against Diamond Kid. I think. Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
There you go. That's why he's on the show earlier on now.
Well,
but that was a crazy match. Like, it looked so real. Like there was so many moves in there where you actually thought, okay, that hurt. And I liked the way like they clashed at different times. They almost just like they run into each other, but it like just because they were almost trying to like force something, and then they both fall, and they wouldn't just get up straight away. They kind of like as if you would if you're in a real fight and you kind of whacked into someone, they'd be holding their arm kind of maybe 2 or 3 minutes after the move's taken place. So you're kind of going, oh, that was from when that happened 3 minutes ago. Whereas now you might see someone get smashed in the head with a chair, but like 2 minutes later, they aren't going to go like that, like, oh, like where he hit me or whatever. And I think the really good guys these days still do that. Like Kevin Owens, you see doing it. Like I've seen Kevin Owens only a few weeks ago. I think he took a shot like to the head or something, to the eye or something like that. But it was like 3 minutes later, he hadn't even been in any kind of like nothing near his head at all. He was kind of going like that still. Maybe it did hurt, but it was kind of he sold it well, just thinking, oh, that was from when Braun headbutted him or whatever a few minutes ago. He's still feeling that, and then he kind of even though you know it's not real, you still buy it a bit more, I think.
Well, I just find knowing Kevin, he's just like such a student of the game that he would put a lot of effort into selling. It's one of his things, like the little things for him. It's a big part of the match.
It matters.
Oh yeah, no question. Like he put a lot of work into every little detail that he did. But he still does, obviously, today. So
like everything he's doing, he's drilled thousands of times before you see it.
Well, and he's watched countless hours of wrestling too, as well. I mean, he's a student of the game. Like he loves it. Like a lot of people, unfortunately, like it's just the way it works out. They don't really come into wrestling because they love wrestling. It's just it falls into their lap kind of thing. And you know, that's just the way it works. That's life. But with Kevin, like he wanted this, like from practically day one. So it's just it's just amazing to see that and to see him pretty much mature into who he is now, like a complete wrestler.
Yeah, and again, I think I'd love to see a fly on the wall of him and Jericho having a conversation because they're both so funny. Like him he was at with Shania Twain concert and all, and up doing his thing, cracking jokes and all, and brilliant. Like, but who do you think lads these days would look up to? Like, or not look up to, but who do you see ever some of the guys now say that are around now, the new kind of blood of wrestling? Would you kind of identify? Would you be able to link saying, oh, he actually must watch a lot of his old matches? Like, would you be able to watch it in that kind of level? Like, I wouldn't see it now at that level because I've never done it. But would you be able to like see, say, guys like Roman Reigns? You'd say, okay, he's really basing his style off like someone from the past.
It's tough because like some guys are like, oh, I was a fan of like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, like Chris Masters, and you look at Chris Masters and like, you know, that's not his style whatsoever.
Not at all, yeah.
So it's tough to say. Like I think a lot of people, if they're Canadian, more than likely they look up to Bret Hart in some capacity, and of course I think Shawn Michaels as well. I'm sure a lot of people look up to The Rock when it comes to a promo. They're just like, wow, what he does. Some people probably don't even like The Rock though as well because a lot of his promos was him just burying his opponent, and you know,
I'd say there was some guys at the back like punching walls in the wrestling room, going, I can't believe he's doing this to me. Like he's absolutely destroying me here. Like
I don't know if you ever saw this, but it's on Botchamania where they show like they had like the shop thing for WWE after pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And they're just burying each other, like DX and The Rock. They're just burying each other back and forth. Like they know the comments back and forth, and like they clearly aren't trying to help each other.
No, they're trying to just
destroy each other. That's it. Like, and that was the attitude of the Attitude Era. You know, it was kill or be killed, pretty much. And now I find that mentality is not there in wrestling. They kind of try to make it more of a team effort. You know, like we're all working together.
Pulling in the same direction, yeah.
So they've changed the mentality, and like from like the bottom up. You know, at NXT, like it's completely changed the way they've done their whole system. And TV now too, it's just completely different. In good ways and bad ways, of course.
Yeah. Do you miss like the Attitude Era?
I mean, I liked it, but it was time to move on because nothing lasts forever, right? And you gotta change it up. The problem is just they lost too much all at once. You know, you lost Austin and The Rock, and it's your two top stars, and you can't replace them. and now you have all this talent from WCW.
All coming in.
All coming in, ECW, and I don't think it really worked out, that invasion, unfortunately. I liked it,
yeah,
but clearly it didn't get the reaction they were looking for. That should have lasted years.
Yeah, I think they just did it like in an episode, like over a month or two. They kind of nearly just like had them all thrown in. Whereas if I had maybe just had a few arrive, cause some trouble, and then maybe have a few more, just kind of filter them in slowly. I think it might have, as you say, it should have gone on for maybe 3 years, like of them all just like getting slowly put into place. I think just trying to throw it all together at once was just messy, and probably in the long term it wasn't great.
Well, if you look at it, they got the big stars, but they got them later. They got Scott Steiner, they got Bill Goldberg, they got Sting, but they got them later once this is over. And yeah, they like to rehash WCW memories and all that, but...
Sting didn't even win a match, didn't he, when he came over? I think he won a tag match or something there.
He won a tag, and I think a singles as well.
Did he end up winning one?
Yeah, I believe it was a singles, then they turned it into a tag, and he won both of those. So he's 2-2 in WWE history. Yeah, but
who did he win a singles against? Was that a disqualification or something?
Yeah, it was like a DQ against the Big Show, I think.
I think, I remember thinking, and then he obviously lost at Mania. And you and Dave argue about that, don't you? About who should have gone over.
It's one of the
great debates.
One of the cornerstones of our arguments.
You think Sting, isn't it? And he thinks
Sting is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Like when you talk about icons in wrestling, Sting is up there.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
And the fact that he came in and just lost, the way he lost, like he can lose whatever, fine, but the way he lost, with all that interference, all that garbage that happened in the match.
DX and NWO and all.
It was just ridiculous. And then it's a slap in the face where, Triple H goes to shake his hand. Like, you just cheated beyond belief to win the match, and then you shake the guy's hand. Like, it made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
It was one of the worst things, like, I had seen. I was so upset. So
you still
upset.
are, look at it.
Yeah, I'm still upset. Like, that should have never happened.
Yeah.
And I believe it's just because Triple H, he always believes, WWE beat WCW, and he always wants it to be that way.
Yeah.
He made the match about that, and the match wasn't even about WCW versus WWE.
No.
But Triple H put it like that. This is the problem. Like, Triple H, he's good for wrestling, but he's also bad for wrestling because he regressed wrestling.
Yeah.
He regressed wrestling so everyone could go down to his style. Slow it down. This is why RVD, guys like that, got pushed to the wayside and didn't get their push because Triple H didn't like that. And they'll give him, like Seth Rollins, he'll give him his moments and all that, but that's his guy though.
So you think do you think Triple H, what will he do in the future with wrestling? Do you think he's going to just keep it going, get it slower and slower, so it's almost like a seniors kind of...
But he's smart though. He realizes that, people want action. People want excitement. That's why he got the cruiserweights. The problem is they're not using the cruiserweights well whatsoever.
Not at all.
But he realizes, like, you get a guy like Nakamura in there, you put him on the main roster, you let him make a difference.
Yeah.
It can work. Like, he realizes what's working wrestling, what's not working wrestling, and he's taking that stuff. He's pretty much just doing what Vince used to do.
Watch what WCW are doing and kind of...
Well, it's just kill all the territories in a sense. Like, he doesn't have territories, but he sees these people that are trying to become big stars in wrestling, and he's just like yoink, yoink, yoink from here, and that's it. That's how he's able to make WWE into the force it is today, and he's trying to build up his, like, stars like Roman Reigns by doing so. And I don't mind Roman. I think he's fine. It's just, people can see through what they're trying to do, and they don't seem to mind this whatsoever. They're fine with Roman getting booed every week, being the new John Cena, and it's kind of hurting WWE more so than it's helping, because I think people are just getting tired of it because it's the same thing week in, week out, and they're not loving it. Like,
no.
They loved it when they saw The Rock and they saw Austin, but Roman Reigns, not so much.
No, yeah, we were actually there live and remember the 10-minute booing session for when Roman was standing in the ring. we were a part of that. Amy over there was part of it too. Actually, interesting fact about Amy, this is a random thing I was going to say. and it's kind of unusual. But when we were at WrestleMania and there was 80,000 people there, this is a true story, and people always laugh at this. Do you know the way they start these things, thank you Taker and all that? She actually started one of them. She started shouting thank you Taker, and a few people in front of us started shouting it, and then eventually the whole arena started shouting it, and it actually stemmed from her starting off. I know it sounds crazy, but it did. Awesome. Yeah, it was really weird. It was like, she started going, thank you Taker, and then I started going, thank you Taker, the usual. And then a few people around us started doing it, and obviously it had been done before we did it as well. Right. But at that stage the arena was silent from shouting it. And it just started going from front of us into the left, and then eventually it was all shouting. So there's actually a certain moment at WrestleMania where I could pinpoint. It was like, that's it. That's the bit where she started doing it. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But going back to what you were saying about Sting losing. If you think if the shoe was on the other foot, because I wanted to ask you, if the shoe was on the other foot and WCW had taken over, say WWE, they were in charge of the match and they were making the decision, would they have let Triple H go? Would they have done it the same way?
We wouldn't have seen that match. I mean, Sting versus Triple H, who would have cared about that? Like, that wasn't the match you want. You wanted to see Sting versus The Rock. You wanted to see, like, Sting versus Austin. Like, Sting versus Triple H, like, I never wanted to see that match.
Yeah. I actually remember they were kind of pitching it like that. They were kind of saying the match you always wanted to see. And I was thinking as well, I was like, what? Did I? When did I ask for that? It's like ordering a steak at a restaurant. They're like, the meal you always wanted. French fries. It's like, well, where's my steak? You know, it's like, yeah, it's grand and all that, but like, it's I think like definitely Sting. Like Sting was probably the main man in WCW. Again, I was only saying this last night to you as well. We never really had access. It wasn't a choice whether we got to watch either, because I always watch it on the WWE Network. Or it was like, were you watching WCW or were you watching WWF? They clashed. They were like battle for Monday night. Like we didn't have the option. It just wasn't on our telly. We had Monday Night Raw, which was on a Friday night. We used to see it on a Friday. It was a delay, 4-hour delay, which it was, you'd never hear the results. You'd be watching it as if it was live. But Monday Night Raw was on a Friday night, and it was never live until recent, about the last maybe 5 years or so, maybe a bit longer than that. But yeah, so like it wasn't a question, did you watch WCW? It was kind of just, you didn't get to see it. So it was like,
that's too bad.
Yeah, exactly. So I did miss out a bit on that. We did have, as I say, WCW on a Saturday afternoon, but it was kind of their version of like Superstars. It would have been kind of
Saturday night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that was Saturday. We used to see it on a Saturday afternoon, so nearly a week in delay. But I got to see great guys like Ravishing Rick Rude, as I was saying last night, and guys like this, and some really cool matches, and Triple H in his real early days, and when he was what was his name? You know.
Blue Blood. He was a Blue Blood something, yeah.
Yeah, but exactly, he was kind of playing the kind of regal, posh kind of ponytail and that kind of thing. Yeah, so it was a couple of good matches and that. It was kind of, it had more of an indie feel as well. The WCW back then, it was more kind of small crowds, really close to the ring.
Yeah.
Which I love. I think I'd love to see more of that. I'd love to see more kind of like, I know they would never do it, but more indie coverage on like the network. They just showed more kind of like shows from around the globe, say like, do you know what I mean, where you could actually watch a local show from Ireland or watch one that was on in the UK, or watch one of some of the shows. I've watched a few that were in Scotland, which are crazy crowds, and they're unbelievable matches, and they're just like, I think we're missing out on that kind of thing sometimes. Like, I think obviously New Japan feels a bit more kind of closer to that.
A bit,
yeah, a little bit, like more kind of with the crowds being a bit more in on the action kind of, but New Japan will put more pressure kind of on WWE to kind of maybe alter their style, or think they're just not.
Oh, it's already happened.
Yeah.
It's already happened. So, on that note, we're ending this first recording of Where's Wally? Episode 2, hopefully you'll see.
You didn't mention the movie.
Oh, that's episode 2.
Episode 2.
That's the sequel.
Yeah, there you go.
To be continued. Until next time.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching.
Thank you.
And last comments, Wally?
Thanks for having us into Montreal. I'm looking forward. I'm going to Ringside Report tonight, talking about MMA. And I'm going to be then on Wrestling Centre, the 400 show. Looking forward to that. Hopefully Antoinette and all can make their way down. And all the guys, maybe Andy is in Montreal, we don't even know he's here. He could be in a hotel room here and he's just
never know what he's doing.
Yeah, that's it. So he could be here. If he's not, as I say, well, hopefully you can bring in Andy. It'd be great to hear from you. Yeah, thanks for having us. It's good crack.
Thank you.
Cheers, Johnny.